So Andrea Esty is from Laguna Niguel, California, and she's vice president of Ukrainian Children Inc. Elena Alexandrova is from Nikopol, Ukraine, and is here in the U.S. to speak for 1 month. They've been working together since last winter to provide wood-burning stoves in Nikopol. In January, they partnered with Insulate Ukraine to repair windows lost due to shelling. They are here to tell you about this program and what the situation is like in Nikopol, a frontline city.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, and now when Andrea, she will share the screen, you all can look on it, and over there we will show you the presentation which we have been sharing with the people. But first of all, yes, I'm Elena. I'm from Ukraine. I live in Nikopol, and I want to say thank you all that you join us, and it shows already that you are care about Ukraine, and this means a lot for us. So now this is on the screen. We will show you our city, Nikopol. I live in Nikopol for all my life. It's a very beautiful city, and I love it with all my heart. And a lot of people, they've been asking us, why you stay there? Because it's home, because there is people whom we need to help, and because we love our city and we love our country. So Nikopol, it's located just 7 kilometers across from something which used to be a river. I will tell you later why it used to be a river. From one city named Energodar. In this city, the nuclear plant located, and that nuclear plant was occupied by Russian army in the first week of war. And since then, we became a target, very good target for them. July 12, 2022, Russians hit our city for the first time. And since then, it's already more than a year. They've been shelling us every day and night. And actually, the last 2 weeks, they've been very hard with our city. There is 5 shells every day and night. So during this time, they've damaged 11,000 buildings and completely destroyed 3,000 buildings in our city. And of course, it's much more windows. Over here, you can see on this picture that it's 20,000 windows which are destroyed in Nikopol, but for now, it's already more than 50,000 windows which are broken in Nikopol. Over here, you can see a building. All the pictures in this presentation is from my city. Over here, you can see the picture where all the windows are broken and covered with the wooden pieces. Our mayor, he is doing his best to help us, and he provides people whose homes were damaged with these wooden pieces. And the problem with it that it doesn't hold heat inside of the apartment. Of course, there is rain, moisture, water, and we came to one lady and to insulate her windows, and there was mushrooms growing inside of her apartment because how cold it get over there, because the temperature in the winter in Ukraine goes below 30 degrees, and the temperature inside of her apartment was 4 degrees. And also there was a family. We came to them also to insulate their windows. There was a lady, and she was holding a bottle with boiled water. And I was curious what she's going to do with that water. And she put that water in the bed with her children because she was trying to warm them at least somehow. And also the problem that these wooden pieces, they covered all the light. And when you already live in such a hard condition and even emotionally, mentally, and all the shells. And when you go back home and there is no light in there, it's very hard. And believe me, my apartment was shelled 4 times. And till now, unfortunately, we don't have windows. A lot of people is asking me why you didn't do yourself those window insulation. The problem that our apartment is rental and we can't do anything without owner's permission. And unfortunately, she left Nikopol and we can't get in touch with her. So this is the problem with these windows. And sometimes there is so many shells that even our authorities, they are not able to provide the wooden pieces to everyone who needs. So this is on the picture, you can see how people cover their broken window with anything they can find. Yeah, that's okay in summertime. But in the winter, when it's -30, it's impossible. And over here, sometimes we are trying to find a smallest room in the apartment because the smallest room is the warmest room. And also, it's not only warmest room, but the safest room. In the bathroom, there is no windows. And it's usually in the middle of the apartment. That's why it's help us to save ourselves from the shell. Because when the shelling has started already, you don't have time to run to the shelter. So over here, we are trying to warm up ourselves and save. My son, when it was not very dangerous in Nikopol, he slept on the floor like this in the bathroom. But when it got very dangerous in Nikopol, we had to send him away to the village. So unfortunately, we are living separately for now. But we know that he's safe, and this is the main thing. As I say, there is 400 days of shelling in our city. And over here, if you can see the name Nikopol on the picture, and under it, there is a sign of the nuclear plant. So this is how close nuclear plant is from Nikopol. Across the river, it's just 7 kilometers. And that's why we are a very easy target for Russians. They May the 6th this year, they blew up the dam, which you can see over here on the top. And because of this, all the water which you used to have in our sea, in reservoir, and we call it sea, but it's actually a reservoir, it's disappeared. You can see on the picture how it was before June 5 and how it is right now. And now actually in August, it's even less water because summertime and all the water. And this picture of the nuclear plant and all the reactors, you can see white buildings, it's a nuclear reactors. And the problem that Russian, they are hiding their ammunitions, MLRS machines next to those nuclear reactors, sorry. And because they know that we can't answer them, we can't shoot them back because it's too dangerous. They are shooting us all the time from that places. Every 2-3 months, they brought new military people who haven't been in war before, who doesn't have any experience, and they are teaching their soldiers how to fight on us, on civilians, because they know that we can't answer them. And you also can see on the bottom picture, how we don't have sea anymore. And it's a big pain because we didn't have water for months and a half. We didn't have at all water, running water, drinking water, and the running technical water was brought to our city, but the lines was so huge, people had to stand 2-3 hours in the line just to get some bottles of technical water. And it's during the summertime, it's also very hot in Ukraine, in Nikopol, it was very hard. But also, it's not the only problem. The problem when there is a lot of people gathered together it became the target number one for Russians, and they shoot over there. We fixed the pipes 2 weeks ago, and we started to have water, but Russians don't like it, and they've shooted the pipe all the time. I've been talking to my husband the day after yesterday, and he said they destroyed the pipe. They destroyed new pipe, and we don't have water again. So, but we hope that, and actually, one of the workers who went there to fix the pipe, he was killed because Russians saw that there is people who went to repair the pipe and they shoot it again, and he was 36 years old and he died trying to fix our pipe. So this is our life. This is how we live now. And that question which you had in the beginning, why do we need to fix the windows? I think Andrea, she will tell you right now how we are fixing them. And I think I already answered you a little bit why, because it's impossible to survive winter without window in Nikopol. So I think Andrea will tell you better about this.
Yeah, there's many nonprofit organizations in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine trying to help, and they're filling in what the government doesn't do. And this is what I choose to do. And this is actually Ilya. And it's Elena's husband, and he's the #1 contractor with us that helps us do the work.
At this moment, there is no alternatives. How the city is helping, it's with the boards. They board up the windows, but it does not keep out wind, heat, or water. Well, that's all they can help with. There is no glass at all, and there is no point in putting it now. Insulation, what we do, it fully keeps the heat like a window, and it's reusable, and it lasts for many years. Even if it gets hit by a shock wave, it can be replaced without any problem.
So this was them doing a problem-solving meeting with some other groups. Let's see. So I met a fellow in January who is a young, brilliant guy who's a graduate of a young, brilliant guy from Cambridge University, lives in England, and he's got a lot of energy, a lot of wonderful ideas. He's a mathematician and an inventor, and he got together with several of his other people, realizing that there were some real problems there, that people were freezing to death. You know, they're turning off the power, they've lost power, or it's intermittent, and so they've either got no heat, no light, and then now no windows. And at the time it was January. So you can imagine people were putting up, you know, towels and, you know, tin and just anything they could find to try and close off the windows. It was crazy. So what he came up with was a new idea. It's very inexpensive. We're using products that are in Ukraine already. Instead of trying to transport stuff there, he uses 4 layers of polyethylene sheet, and it's one big sheet. They make a frame out of PVC pipe, like what you would use to irrigate your garden, and that's available all over. And then they have these insulation noodles. It's like a piece of foam, a foam tube with a slit down the side. So they wrap the polyethylene, and then they put the tube on over the frame, and then they wrap it again, and it makes a gap between the layers. And they did some tests with a temperature gauge and found that it actually rivals a dual pane glass window. It's really amazing for $15. And that includes like $8 that we pay someone to actually install it. So we're hiring people in Ukraine who are out of work, and we're helping people who have nothing, have no windows. And it doesn't make sense to put glass in because they're just going to get broken. They're a flying object. People get cut. And like I said, they're just going to get broken again. So we've already had windows that we put in. We call them window insulation, and that was rebombed. And this is an example. We put a window in, and the people were home when the thing had been hit the first time. Luckily, they just had a mild concussion. And then less than a month later, a bomb struck on the other side of their building, and the shock wave actually pushed the window out. You can see how the noodle or the pieces, the center support pieces bent out, but it didn't break. It didn't hurt anyone. It can easily be replaced. And, that was a really big, important thing for us all to see, because we weren't sure what was going to happen. So this is kind of typical. The window on the left there, that's actually one of our volunteers' windows. That's his bedroom where he sleeps. And then the next to the right is, after, and they were able to make the window so it could open. And then, let's see, all of our faces are over the far right picture, but typically a lot of these apartment buildings have what looks kind of like a patio, but it's an atrium. It's an enclosed metal frame with glass in it. And these are the things that are getting broken out on a lot of these big apartment buildings. So you would have seen that other picture, but it's hiding. So the fellow that invented this initial project, he started experimenting. He got some money, got people to donate from England some large quantity of polyethylene, and he started in the city of Izium, the top one there, and got a Rotary Club involved, and they saw that it worked. It could be scaled quickly. People liked it. It worked. And so I found him about that time. He wasn't done with Izium yet. And so we're Nikopol, where the arrow is pointing. So we're like test number 2. And they now have opened another city in Kherson and Liman. And what's interesting about this is other NGOs can adopt a city and use all of his infrastructure to keep track of everything. He, being this math whiz, he's got an entire system laid out that keeps track of everybody that gets a window, their phone number, their name, their address, how much material was used, when it was finished, all these things. And so if something doesn't look right, like there's 2 of the same name or the same address, or there's quantities of pipes that are disappearing, he's going to notice it. So it's a really wonderful system that can be expanded to any number of people, any other projects. It could be, a water project in Africa that different groups want to get in on together and use the same program to keep track of it all. It's just a great program. So we've done about 1,300, probably closer to 1,400 windows now in Nikopol, and we've got 20,000 to go. And we're working on it. We're chipping it away. So the other thing that Insulate Ukraine, this guy from England came up with was a management system. So you hire a local area manager, you have a local warehouse that can keep the materials. And the local manager in this case is Ilya, Elena's husband, he's got his hands on the frame there in the picture, and Elena is sitting next to him, and Harry, who invented the window, is at the corner of the table. So so it's all purchased locally. Ilya is in charge of the other group that actually installs. He takes the names and numbers of people that call that want windows. He supervises everyone, goes back and makes sure they did a good job, that the people are happy, does all the quality control, and then I pay them, or Ukrainian Children pays them. And so this is our dream team in Nepal. So number one is, of course, Elena. And number two is her husband, Ilya. Of course, he can't see that I put him as number two. So, and then we've got 6 full-time people that are installing. We'd love to get a larger group of people. Just last, what was it, 2 nights ago, we had a school, a college that there's like 50 windows were blown out. So they're over there working on that right now. And we'd love to have more people so we could go faster, because winter's coming. It's hot right now here and there, but it's going to be winter before you know it. And people are going to be clamoring for it, and we won't be able to keep up. So we're in kind of a crunch trying to convince people to do it now before winter, and then implement it and get it done. So this is one of our people who received.
Can you tell us, please? As we understand, you can't see. What is your diagnosis? Yes, I have a glaucoma. Do you see badly? No, I don't see at all. Yes, my wife has a first group of disabled. We have 2 children. It is common. Also, there was a shell. The windows were destroyed. It is very hard to live on the shell. It is very scary. Does it shell you every day? Yes, every day, every day. Once the piece of the ceiling fell on our bed where we are sleeping. The ceiling collapsed from the shelling. Tell me, after you've contacted us about window insulation, did it help you? Do you feel warmer? Yes, of course. You came and helped us. It became much warmer in our house. And the stove. In the stove you can cook and you can heat. It heats all the house. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help.
And we have so many people that cry when Elena and her husband come. It means so much to them. This winter we'll be starting up the wood burning stove project again, which is also made in Ukraine by a small Ukrainian company, and they all donate their time. We're basically pay $100 for each stove, and it's the cost of the materials. So everybody's pitching in, trying to do what they can to help each other. So if you want to ask Elena some questions, and we can maybe show you a couple more things.
Yeah, of course, if you have any questions, me and Andrea, we will be glad to answer. But before this, I want to say, first of all, thank you from Ukraine to every one of you, because your support is so important for us. Your country is one of the biggest supporters in Ukraine, and we cannot overestimate everything what you're doing. Oh, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please. Oh, and also, I just want to share with you, if we have a little bit of time, this guy you can see over here
On the left.
on left, yes, with pipes and the stove. Maybe it will be hard for you to see, but on the stove there is a big piece of metal. This is a piece of shell which this person found in the bed of his 16 months old child. But praise God, that night she slept with them on the bed, so she survived. And half of their building was destroyed, and this stove was the only place where they were cooking and what was warming them up. And over here you can see the lady with 3 children. And this is that lady I've told you about, who had a bottle of water to put in the bed of her children to warm them up. So this is those 2 young guys. And that was a lady, she's 90 years old, and we also brought her a stove. She's just a great person. So sweet.
Давали допомогу їй.
Дівчинка сказала, що не треба, ми і поїхали.
Доброго дня.
Доброго дня.
Да.
It's kind of a funny story. You should tell them that. Tell them that
Давайте
story.
ми сфотографуємо.
Okay, if we have some time, I will very quickly will tell you this story. It's a little bit a shame for us, but when we came to her to give, first we called to the chief of that village where she lives, and we asked him, can we distribute some stoves to the people who need them? And he gave us the address of this lady, and he also gave us another person from this village. So that person will show us the way. And when we came there, that old lady, she went somewhere and she just disappeared. And we thought, okay, maybe she don't need a stove. And that old man who was leading us, he said, yeah, I think she don't need a stove. So we left. And on the next day, we came again with new portion of the stoves to the mayor of that village. And we said that we would want to distribute more stoves. And he said, if you are like those people who were yesterday, who lied to that old lady that they will give her a stove but didn't give, I want to have nothing to do with you. And we said, we are not just like those people, we are those people from yesterday. But we thought that she don't need this stove, that's why we left, but we will go and we will give her this stove. So we went, we gave her the stove, and she said that actually she didn't disappear. She just went inside. She wanted to open the gate for the car, so we would come in with the stove. So that was a funny story.
Oops.
But she has a stove and she's glad about this.
Let's see. There's another.
My name is Valentina Ivanovna Lishchinska. I was born in Zaporizhia. 2 weeks later, we moved to Nikopol. Since 1936, I live in Nikopol. On a PE lesson, I jumped from a horse and fell and got a joint sprain and a rupture of the synovial back of the knee joint. I had even legs, but now they're deformed. After that, you can't walk on your feet, only on your knees? Yes, I can only walk on my knees on crutches. It hurts me very much. I can do only 200 steps. You are a disabled person of the second group? Yes, I have been a disabled person of the second group since 1996. Please tell us, what happened at your house? There was shelling. It turns out they wanted to shoot at the kindergarten, but it didn't get the kindergarten. And a shell fell near my house. Well, it was something very scary. It seems to me that the shell flew into my apartment. The next morning, I found that I had 9 broken windows, 5 on the balcony, 2 on here, and 2 in the kitchen. After you contacted us about insulation of the windows, did insulation help you? Of course it helped. Thank you very much. Did it become warmer? Yes, of course. I'm greatly grateful to you that you are doing this work. You are bringing joy and warmth to people. Thank you very much.
So you can see there's a lot of people that don't want to leave, and some are able to leave, and some it's a lot more difficult for them to leave. So everyone's trying to take care of each other. You know, Elena's got a son 4 hours away that she would like to be with, but she feels she has to stay to help take care of these people. She doesn't know who is going to fill in her place. And so.
Yeah. This
So-
is it. This is our life. And if you have more questions, we would be very glad to answer.
I'm wondering, how can you sleep at night not knowing if you're going to be shelled or not?
Actually, unfortunately, we know that we are going to be shelled. That's why we sleep in the halls, corridors, how can you call it, on the floor, because this is the safest place. Or right now, while I'm here, my husband, he sleeps in the basement. He knows that there will be a shell at night, so he doesn't spend night at apartment. He goes to sleep in the basement.
That's another thing we're working on too, is there's a school that we're replacing the windows on, but it's the only building in the area that has a basement able to withstand to some degree a problem with the nuclear power plant. And so we're going to put 4 stoves down there. We're going to seal the upstairs windows that were broken, and that's going to be a shelter, a small, albeit a small shelter, for if the worst happens and the nuclear power plant is breached. So.
And unfortunately, you used to that. First couple of months, yeah, we couldn't sleep at all. For whole night, we were worried when the shell will happen, where it will hit. But later on, you just used to this. Yeah, there is a shell. Yeah, they're hitting. But you need to survive. You need to sleep. And you're sleeping. Not very good, but you do.
During the month you're here, are you going to be doing more presentations, or is this going to just go out to different groups, this recording right now, or how are you going to use your time while you're here?
Yeah, we have some presentation. We already made a couple of them, and we are doing Zoom with you. Also, we will have a talk tomorrow. And on the next week, we have more meetings. We have meetings in the Rotary clubs. So Andrea, she did a great job with arranging everything before I come. So before I came, there was a lot of meetings already set up, so we would be able to raise as much funds as possible, because there is a lot of windows and there is a lot of families who need to be helped.
She goes back on the 23rd of this month, back home to Nikopol. So she flies into Krakow, Poland, and it's probably a 2-day journey for her to get back. The train station in Nikopol was destroyed quite some time ago, so she can't take the train all the way home. It only goes as far as Dnipro, and then she's got about an hour and a half is it a bus ride or will your
Bus.
husband go pick you up?
Yes.
Bus ride from there. So she's really, it's been a long journey here and a long journey home. So
Are you totally booked for the time that she's here, or if I find someone that a group that wanted to hear more about you, could I contact you? I'm just trying to
we would love,
figure out how to get the word. Pardon?
we would love to. Because we were supposed to be with you in person right now, but I had some issues and so we weren't able to make it. So we've got about a week and a half where we have nothing. And
Okay.
so we're trying to fill in what we're willing to do,
Okay.
Zoom or whatever we can do for anywhere in the country.
Okay. Well, I'm a networker, so let me think.
Okay.
Excuse me, I just lost myself in the screen and I lost a lot of you.
Oh no.
But I have to, that's okay. I have to leave and I want to tell you that I'm totally horrified by what's happening in Ukraine and what Russia is allowed to do. And what is interesting that as Jews, many of us have Ukrainian roots, like Polish roots. Not everybody is an heir to the Habsburg monarchy. And I am very afraid of the nuclear possibility. And NATO is doing nothing. And the European Union is doing nothing. So I wish you not the best of luck. I wish you that this should come to an end as soon as possible.
Yes.
And it's interesting, but when history will be written 50 or 100 years from now, Ukraine will have a chair of honor, because so far, you know, how is surviving under horrible circumstances.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So be safe. Good luck. I already gave my contribution. And what can I tell you? Just continue spreading the word and building windows.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
you.
We appreciate it a lot.
Bye-bye.
Can I ask a question and just make a comment too?
Thanks.
You know, I mean, I'm sure we all know it's not that NATO's not doing anything. We're afraid to start World War III. But luckily, you know, we are all sending, not we all, but, you know, I know many countries are sending ammunition and trying to help Ukraine fight. Also today in the paper, I'm sure you know more about this than me, but there's rumblings about China not being willing now to support Russia with a blank slate. They're not happy that the war is going on so long. And there was a big meeting of a lot of the countries. Are you guys aware of this?
Yeah, I know this.
I thought that was very
I heard about
very promising.
Yeah, there was not a specific decision made over there, but our president, he said that he is very glad about everything that they come up with from that. So I'm glad about.
Yeah, he was at that meeting. He's at that meeting right now, right?
He wasn't at that meeting. The prime minister was over there, and the chief of president's office was over there.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just have a quick question. Over the winter, I remember hearing about certain areas of Ukraine where it was dangerous for people to go into the woods and pick up wood, because were there landmines or I don't know what kind of
Yes.
ammunition was out there.
Were
they able to get wood? What's that, Elaine?
A lot of fights were in the woods area, so people cannot go there because of the mines and the unexploded shells.
The mines. Is there another way to get wood, or is that part of?
Yes, we are having wood from the different parts of the Ukraine, and for example, in our city, our mayor, he is caring about distributing for some categories of people, like disabled people, elderly people, those wooden pieces, just wood for free.
Oh, good.
So there's truck.
And then I
rolls.
just have a simple question about food. I mean, I assume it's not like supermarkets are open, right? I mean, how are people able to get their food? Or are they open?
Everything is open in Nikopol now.
Oh,
For
good.
first 2 months, yeah, that was hard because people were afraid. 80% of the city evacuated, and of course nobody wanted to work. But as I said, unfortunately, we're already used to this. So all the markets, everything is working. It's not a problem to get food. And
But
we have a lot of organizations who are helping, like VCK, World Central Kitchen, and any others who are providing with the food products also to those categories like disabled, refugees, and or elderly people on a monthly basis, a big food products.
Wonderful. Oh, good. So World Central Kitchen is still very present.
Yes, I work for them
I did too.
in Nikopol.
Wonderful. And if I, Rabbi Judith had a question, can I just say one thing about Rabbi Judith? When you go to UkrainianChildren.org and then you click donate, it's a little confusing. It's when you get to the PayPal where you can choose the Windows project, right, Andrea?
Yes, you can choose.
That's where you can, that's because my brother, like the Wasserson project is there, but
Mhm.
for Andrea, it's the window project.
Okay,
Right.
could you put it again on the just exactly what to type in on the so that all of us can know how easily to donate?
Yes, where is it?
Mhm.
Chat.
And there should be a way, you know, because I believe that the people on here should donate, and
Well, I
I
can.
certainly will, but I would if I don't want it to go to the wrong place.
Yeah, and again, once you're in the website, you'll see all the different projects, but it's when you get to PayPal where you can actually choose the window project.